Hello and welcome to haQ. My name is Jakob, I'm your host and you're watching a haQ episode. Quite recently, I started interviewing developers, and so I've been asked if I can make tutorials on how I do these interviews. And so I thought, why not? Because I'm actually dialing them up with Skype, recording the conversations, and then I'm editing the audio in Cubasis and so forth. So I thought I'd make a two-part series. The first one being this one, where I'll be showing you my hardware setup for actually capturing the voice of the person I'm interviewing and myself. Now, before we dig into this, I just want to add that the second part is going to include the actual processing of the audio and the Skype audio in particular, because a phone conversation or a Skype conversation usually ends up sounding really harsh. And you'll be able to find a link down in the description to that video and also at the end of this video. Now, there are several ways of actually recording audio from Skype, but since I've been asked how I do it, I'll be showing you my method. Fairly overly complicated setup. Right, so let's dig into this. The first thing we need is a device to actually phone up the developer on, and I'm using an iPhone 6s. Now, this isn't an iPhone 6s, it's an iPhone 5, but I'm actually using the iPhone 6s to film this session with, so we'll just have to imagine it's an iPhone 6s. Right, now this is the one we're going to be using Skype on, and now we need a way of getting my voice into it so the developer can hear me, and a way of getting the audio out from the phone itself so we can record what the developer is saying. Now, I'll be using an iK Multimedia iRig MicLav. It's a lavalier microphone and it's a very special one. It's got a breakout box with a headphone output port on it. But this thing actually have two modes. You can switch it to chain another lavalier microphone right to it, or you can use it as a headphone output port. And I've got it switched to the headphone output port mode. Now, the thing is, this headphone output port will only output what the developer is saying and not actually what I'm saying. But I'll be using another microphone for that anyways. So now we need a device where we can record the audio coming out from the headphone output port on the breakout box on the MicLav. And I'm using my iPad Pro for this, and I've got audioshare loaded onto it. Now, the way I'm actually getting the audio out from the MicLav into the iPad is by using my Novation Audio Hub 2x4. And so I'm using a Klotz stereo cable with a 3.5mm teleplug at one end and RCA connectors at the other end. Now, yes, this is a stereo cable, but I won't actually be recording in stereo. I'll be recording in mono because there's no need to record in stereo since Skype conversations, FaceTime, and regular phone calls, the audio is all mono anyway. I now need a way of actually hearing what the developer is saying. And so I'm gonna need a pair of headphones, and I'll be connecting those right to the headphone port of the audio hub. Now I just need to make sure that the audio hub is actually connected to my iPad Pro, and I'm using a Lightning to USB 3 connector for this one so that I can at the same time charge my iPad. Now, for the next part, I need to be able to capture my own voice, and I'm going to be doing that with my trusty old iK Multimedia iRig Mic HD. I've been using this for almost 4 years now. It's with this one I've recorded all my narration for all my episodes, all my videos here on the channel. I'm doing it this way because I want my voice to sound like it always does here on the channel. So now that we've got this set up, the developer that I'm going to interview will be able to hear me through the MicLav. I'll be able to record whatever the developer says onto my iPad Pro here, and we're all set. So all I need now is someone to interview and basically some questions to ask that person. Once the interview has been recorded, it needs to be processed because, as I mentioned in the beginning, Skype, FaceTime, and phone conversations are usually pretty harsh in its sound. And so you need to process it a lot in order to make it sound good for a podcast or a video, whatever you're going to do with the audio. And that's what I did with the Bram Boss interview and even the Eric Sicht interview I did for the Tardigrade video. Now, if you do want to know how I do process my Skype audio in order to make it sound good enough for publication, using de-essers, equalizers, compressors, and even finalizing it through maximation. Maximation? Is that even a word? Well, then you can find a link to part 2 of this mini-series down in the description and also at the end of this video. Now, I'm aware that the setup I'm using in this video in order to record the Skype conversations is pretty contrived and overly complicated, and I might just make a video in the future where I'm showing you an easier way of doing that. Now, if you like this type of content, if you want to help in securing the future for this channel, if you like creativity and good content here on YouTube, very subjective thing, but if you do like it, then why not at least consider joining up on Patreon, like many of my patrons have already done. That's still a very weird sentence. Now, if you don't like Patreon, then I've also got a PayPal me site, and I've also got a PayPal me link, so you can do a one-off donation if you rather do that. If you don't want to do Patreon or PayPal, then you can also help by sharing my videos. Press the thumbs up because that really helps with the ratings around here. And if you do subscribe, then don't forget to press in that little bell thing, because that way you'll always get notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, as usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it. Now go watch part 2.
No A controls semitones.
No B controls value.
That's right. No A controls semitones.